People so often wonder, how can narcissists be so successful at ensnaring people and getting them hooked on the narcissist so deeply? Because normal people, healthy people, your average neurotypical, when they come across the concept of narcissism and how narcissists get people so hooked on them, they're like, how the hell do they do that? And it's a really interesting question because there are a few things going on. And the first thing is narcissists do tend to target people who are high in codependent traits, people who have unhealed trauma from childhood. Maybe they didn't have a wholesome relationship with their caregivers. They look for people with certain types of ongoing traits like neediness, an excessive need of external validation, wanting the approval of others, and things like that. And once the narcissist has found this person or somebody with those qualities and background, you know, through their interrogating questions and just reading the person, they can see who kind of fits that profile. And if that person shows any interest back to the narcissist then starts thinking, okay, what do I have to say to make you feel good? What do I have to say or do to pique your interest? And of course, narcissists are quite good at reading, people's kind of like hidden desires and unhealed trauma. So they kind of very soon after talking to somebody new like that, they hold both the carrot and the stick. And then it really comes down to the implementation, which is narcissists, in the love bombing, they pump people up really high. They really do try to make you feel good. They really make you feel like you can do no wrong, like they've never met anybody as special as you. Like you really are the best thing since sliced bread. And that's exactly how you feel. And then you associate and just look at them in this kind of positive light because they fill you up with those good feeling hormones. You just feel great around them. They pump you up. And if you haven't been validated in a while and you're needy, all of a sudden you feel like your needs are being met. And that's exactly what the narcissist is doing at the beginning. They're meeting your needs in a way that you haven't had your needs met in a long time, and perhaps never. Because that's how they make themselves stand out in your eyes. It's all fake, of course. None of it's real. But because they make you feel so much better than anybody else has ever made you feel like you have this deep, meaningful connection with them. You feel like you have a keeper. You feel like you've met your soulmate. You feel like this is the real deal. You've hit the jackpot. Well, you have hit the jackpot, but it's just not a good prize. It's the opposite of a good prize. So people who just have these chronic, unmet needs, and people who have a high tolerance for allowing other people in their lives who have toxic traits, perhaps because when you were a child and maybe you had one or two toxic parents, you had to accept it, you had to live with it because you didn't have the choice to leave back then. At a very subconscious level, you have a high tolerance and even an attraction towards people who demonstrate those traits. So you're giving them the space to manipulate you. You're giving them the space to get you hooked on them. And you don't even realize it. Because they've already read you quite well before you ever knew what they were up to. And that's, without getting into way too much detail, those are some of the key kind of forces at play when it comes to narcissists getting people hooked, in terms of the kind of person they look for, how they read you, and how they make you feel good. So you associate only very positive things with them. And of course, that's just the beginning. That's just the first part. Once they do have you hooked, they can do whatever they want with you, just about. They can have their own needs met with you. And a lot of that has to do with the devaluation. Because every time they're frustrated, every time something at work's not going well, somebody upsets them, maybe they have an illness, the weather's not good, they're having car trouble, maybe a black cat crossed in front of their path and it made them feel paranoid. I mean, just about anything can upset the narcissist, and all of a sudden they use you as their object of projection. And because they've gotten you hooked on them so deeply, you just don't really see a way out, nor do you want to leave, because you just look at them, and no matter how toxic they're behaving towards you, you continue to see that person they once were, and you want that person back, even though that was just play acting. That was just an artifice. None of that was real. But of course, you don't know that. So, yeah, getting you hooked is step one. Step two for the narcissist is just having you as a tool to regulate them and make them feel okay. And for them to feel okay, that means they need somebody who they can put down to feel better about themselves, in particular when things in their own life isn't working out so good. And then the third stage is they've basically broken you down to the point where you just have absolutely nothing to offer them, nothing to offer yourself. At which point, they could really care less if you're even in their presence anymore. That's when narcissists often discard you, or they push you to the point of leaving, and because you're so broken, such a shell of your former self, you don't really care. Well, they don't really care if you leave or stay. That's stage 3. And then stage 4, if it comes to it, is when you start feeling better about yourself. You start healing. And then they want to come back. But anyway, that's just the normal cycle with a narcissist. And as you can see from stage 4 often means stages 1, 2, and 3 repeat themselves multiple times. But when it comes to the narcissist getting you hooked, when it comes to the narcissist ensnaring you, when it comes to the narcissist turning you into their tool so they can feel level-headed, self-regulated, it just goes back to those basic principles. You meet a certain set of criteria, they read you well, they feed you some things that make you feel so good and associate them with positive things, and you get hooked. So yeah, if you come across somebody like that who just seems to be too good to be true, the things they say to you and do for you are just disproportionately buttering you up and love bombing you, you can rest assured they're up to no good. And that's a red flag right there to sign out and say, hasta la vista. You don't want none of that, believe me. Anyway, thanks for watching this video. Take care.